name is Peachy, and in this video I'm going to take you through a quick no-nonsense guide on painting your Sneakfeet with a colour variant choice perfect for your bulldogs and your grognards. All the paints used are from the Army Painter, so let's get cracking. Now I'm starting from a grey undercoat. Any undercoat would do really. I just wanted to use grey because it's a nice mid-tone. And the first colour I'm going to use is a red, so get whatever red you want, but I'm using Wyvern Fury here for his jacket. I'm just going to coat all over. I'm not going to be super neat at this point because like the straps and trousers and stuff I can paint over later. That's fine because that's the beauty of paint. Also, I'm not going to miss out on his little feather, plume, what you want to call it. Next is to get some black, so I'm going to coat over all the details pretty much that I want black, so like the hat, the gas mask, the gun, the trousers, and we're quite frivolous with this as well, so I'm just going to quite heavily apply it. That's the thing about contrast paints as well, or speed paints, is they do apply a little bit different than like normal paints. I tend to swamp the area and then move it around. Unlike with a layer paint or a base paint, you tend to gently apply that over the surface area and do a couple of thin coats. This, I kind of swamp it on and move it around. Now in some places there's a little bit of red shown through from like where I've been a bit messy. That's fine because I'll do a second coat which will more than likely hide that, depending on like how thin it is or if you've used it straight from the pot or whatever. So I'm just doing that now. Sometimes I like to apply it a little bit thinner because as it dries it pulls away from the edges. Another reason for using a grey undercoat, it gives you a bit of a highlight. But yeah, if you've made a few splodges then just a second coat would hide it, or just black straight from the pot where you may have made a mess. You've got a bit too heavy-handed. Right, next up is to paint any white details. So I want my Ventrilian Noble-esque rattling to have obviously white straps and white pouches because it fits in nicely. Again, I've got a grey undercoat here, so that's going to help with that. Depending on how heavy-handed you were with the red, some of these areas are going to be red, and that's fine because a couple of thin coats of just this white or brigade grey that I've got as an off-white. Once I apply that over those straps that have been base coated red, you won't even notice it, especially once you've done a wash as well. The thing with these Army Painter paints is they've got decent pigment in them as well, so one coat usually ends up just about doing it. Sometimes you could do with a second coat, depending on like here, I'm doing white over red. Sometimes it needs a little bit of a second coat, but most of the time they're really punchy colours and one coat is more than enough. Well, of course, gun strap, can't forget that. Do that a nice white colour as well. Just channeling my inner Napoleonic vibes and Ventrilian vibes here, that's all. He's also got some nice knot work around his shako, so if you don't know anything about Napoleonics, don't worry, just pick out the colours however you want to. You can always just look at like a Frenchman's hat, shako they're known as, and then use that as a guide. If I did like something like a grenadier, this would all be red, but I'm just doing it white because it kind of sets off nicely with the other areas on the model. Then it's a matter of picking out any silvers, so I'm getting some gun metal, just picking out the belt buckle. I'm going to work on some details on the gun as well. Very similar because it's exactly the same design as the last guy, so the gun's exactly the same. So all I'm going to do is just pick out the areas the same way I did on the last one. I mean, it's up to you, you can do it differently. Normally, when my Ventrilian nobles, I tend to give him gold guns. He's not a true Ventrilian, so he doesn't get a gold gun. He's not allowed it. He's just a regimental chef, isn't he? Just looks a bit pretty. Pretty regimental chef. I mean, that's what rattlings are really. They're just good at like shooting and good at cooking. That's why they have them. I mean, technically they're abhumans, so they'd probably kill them normally if you're an abhuman. But these guys have got some culinary skills. Of course, there's the gas mask as well, so don't forget to pick that out. And then I'm going to move on to gold, so still keeping my metallics. I'm going to get some greedy gold and apply that over the eagle design, the Ventrilian eagle. That's what that is. It's not at all a French eagle. Just in case anyone's wondering. Of course there's the chin straps as well, so I'm going to pick those out. The pom-pom at the top, this little sort of round little thing, I wasn't quite sure what to do with that, so I thought I'll pick out gold first and then see how the mood takes me. I can always paint over that later if I want to use the same colour as the cuffs. Just go around picking out any like strapping areas or like detailed areas in gold. And there's some like almost like V shapes, sort of almost vertical, so I'm just going to pick those out. Then I'm going to pick out any cuffs using some sky blue. So that's the same sky blue I used on the Rattling's sleeve that he had. That little armband he had. I'm just doing the same thing here. I've noticed this one doesn't have an armband, so maybe it's a rank thing. I don't know. Decided to pick out that pom-pom as well with a little bit of sky blue. I thought just picking it out in the centre there, it just helped balance out between the sleeves a little bit. So that's why I did that. Then next up, I'm going to pick out any flesh details. So that's going to be using some paratrooper tan this time. This goes over like colours a little bit better. So if you're having trouble with the barbarian flesh in the first one, then I'd recommend moving to paratrooper tan instead because it's got better coverage. So you start with that first and you can always highlight back up or layer back up with some barbarian flesh. But yeah, just going around, picking out the feet, the hands, Don't need to worry about his face because it's covered in a gas mask. Then I'm going to wash all over using some strong tone. Again, I like using strong tone. I like applying it all over. It's an army painting technique I've done for years. It works really well. Some people are against like all over washes. It's just what I'm used to. It's what I like doing. It's a godsend. Gets all that definition, paints all those shadows for you, and when it's dry you can literally leave the model at that. If you feel like you want to add to it, you can always tidy back up, which I'm going to do in a moment, but for the most part, if you're on a budget of time or you just don't want to do any more, just leave it at that. It just takes a little while to dry. And like the other one as well, I'm just soaking up any excess using a slightly smaller brush. So what I'm going to do now is just tidy up those areas. So I'm going to get the colour I use for base coats and just pick out some of those raised areas. So like on the jacket here, just add a little bit more punch because you're getting some extra definition from that slightly darker toned version of it from having that wash all over. So just work your way around picking those out. And again, you can also add a little bit of highlight in here as well if you need to. So like on the sleeves and stuff, you can make more definition of things like creases on the arms, or like if the feathers on the hat, you want to like add a little more definition there. You can just use this tidy up stage to give yourself a little bit more wriggle room for doing some highlights later on down the line. So I'm just going to tidy up that sky blue. I mean, it's only the kind of cuffs really here. The roundel didn't really need doing. I'm just picking out some of the raised areas, give myself a little bit of highlight. I also decided as well, he's got like some epaulets, so I thought, you know what, I'll pick those out, make that a nice little feature as well. So just neatly picked out. I was a bit like one side, like, oh, it's not got any, but then I realised you could just see bits near the strap, so I kind of did the little vertical sections on that as well. It took a little bit of patience to do that, but again, you don't have to. I just wanted to do that because I could see it through the strap, so I decided to pick those out. Then I'm just going to tidy up the white, or off-white with Brigade Grey. Again, just like the previous stages, going around picking out those raised areas. I also use the opportunity here to do like some scratches on those pouches as well, very much like we did with the leather pouches on the other Ratlin. Just doing like some little scratches because that shades made it look a little bit like dirty and grimy, maybe a little bit battle worn or whatever, so you've got a bit of room to add some scratches in there as well. And of course, if you make mistakes, you can tidy it back up using some red. Make sure you give your brush a quick wash because red and white are a bit tricky when you use them in conjunction with each other, so do give it a good wash. I often find actually using a little bit of black after I've like used some red, wash it out, get some black, and then wash that, kind of gets rid of any like red staining. Just a little top tip there. But yeah, just go around picking out the knotwork on the hat as well. Sorry, shako. So what I'm going to do now is just get some of that greedy gold again and just add a little bit more bling. I mean, it didn't really need it, but it's quite a nice shiny gold. And that's what I like about the Army Painter golds, is they are very blingy. There are some golds out there that are quite dull, but these definitely have a lot more of a sheen to them, which I really appreciate. So I thought I'd make use of that by just going over those gold details. Nice and straightforward. And of course, just tied up the bits on the gas mask, the rebreather sections. And also I decided, yep, this is the point where I'm going to pick out those eye lenses a little bit. So get those silver to start off with because they've got like a bit of a ringlet around them. Tidy up any other little metallic details that I need to. And then of course highlight the grey areas as well. Very much like we did with the last Ratlin Sniper. Just do some grey highlights, some deep grey. And I can always wash those in a bit with a little bit of black. But yeah, just go around, pick out any folds that you need to. You can do it on the gun if you want to, and the shako, hat. It's entirely up to you. Now I'm just going to coat it with some grim black. Just, again, knock back those highlights because there isn't like a super dark grey, so I tend to use like deep grey and then just knock it back with a little bit of a wash just so it's not too in your face.